Hey friends, how are we doing tonight? Welcome to the live stream tonight with the Tarp team. We've got Justin and Matt waiting in the background here, and I gotta kill my volume on my second screen. So just wanted to get a feel for how everybody's doing, and we'll get this fired up. So let me, without much further ado here, we got 42 folks in the chat right now. You guys ready to give a warm welcome to your talent squad, the guys that are making it happen? Let's bring them in, Matt and Justin.
Hey everyone.
Hi guys.
Hey,
look
Matt,
at
how are you doing tonight? Hey, there he is. That's Moonshot the way I know, just Moonshot right there.
Everyone was missing the alien. I'll admit, he's good looking. He's cute.
He is cute, man. And the moon surface, I mean, it just looks like, it looks like you're really there.
Yeah, it's great. I am on the moon right now. The weather's a little cold, not gonna lie, but it's a nice, quiet, desolate place. You can get work done up here pretty good, and yeah.
I can't. Well, your signal's coming through strong. Your audio sounds great. So, whatever you're using up there for technology is going good.
It's a mix of NASA and SpaceX. Yeah. They do a great job.
I actually, for the audience, I was joking with Justin before that. For me, honestly, it's like a total head trip to see you on the screen because I've probably watched 40 or 50 hours of video of you being the green alien,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and awesome. I know a lot of people have missed him because I haven't been using him as much. The only time he gets used is when he's on my channel now. So it's one of those funny things that you don't get to see him as often, but I know everybody likes him.
Yeah, I like him for sure. Let's give a quick shout out to some people in the audience tonight. We've got Bree out there. Bree has been doing me some major favors lately for my videos. She's got a strong following on Twitter. Deb actually serves as my personal go-to for all things advice in the interview space. I used to watch Deb and Just Moon pretty much exclusively when I started making Saitama content. Deb, because she did tons of AMAs and she's just really good with an interview. She asks good questions and she's good at leading a discussion. And this Moonshot, I watched that channel because one of my viewers, a guy named Mark Craven, who I'm sure comments on your stuff too, he told me every day, you need to do a collaborative with Just Moonshot. And I actually reached out to you once, but the more I watched your content, the more I started realizing it would just be me watching the video still, but being on the camera and just saying, wow, how does that work? How does that work? Because she's so knowledgeable.
It's funny. I've had that experience where I've had somebody on who, they're pretty excited to be on and then they just kind of get blown away. And it's a bit of a weird experience. There was one occasion, I won't say who it was with. I was on somebody else's channel. There's been a falling out since then. But he had another guest on and then we got talking and yeah, the guy was like, okay, I'm in over my head. And I try not to make people feel that way, but it can happen from time to time.
Well, I've got a couple questions for you tonight where we're going to try to take things back to basics a little bit, just to help. Because when I look at the growth, just the audience, but when I look at the growth of the cryptocurrency community, it's just exploded. And for a lot of people, I think you get excited because you hear people talking about their investments and you get excited about hearing always one person that shot the moon basically, and get a ton of money. So you start digging into it. And then pretty soon you realize there's almost a different language going on. There's a lot of terms that are unfamiliar. Trying to buy in the DeFi space is a little bit intimidating, especially the first couple of times. And then when you start learning there's multiple blockchains, it's kind of a tricky space. So I've got some questions for you around that. But before we get started, why don't we get started? Let me just ask you guys, Matt, you guys have done several of these and you've given quite a bit of background, but maybe you could tell us just a little bit about your history and how for you Tarp came into being.
So a little bit about my history. Obviously, I started trading crypto at some point. For me, trading crypto started really in 2015 and 16, but my first experience with Bitcoin or crypto was in 2011 and 12 when Silk Road was there, just about when Mt. Gox was being launched. So I bought like half a Bitcoin for, I believe, $15 or $20 or so. So it was ridiculously low. And back then I didn't know the value of it, obviously. Like it was, something interesting to do. And I followed like, advice from people around me. But it really got serious when I got into like 2015 and 16. I really saw that really big pump to like 10, 11K. And before that, I have been trading into foreign exchange or like, regular stocks. Owning also like multiple different kind of businesses, mining company eventually. And, I've seen a lot of the things that happen inside the crypto space, from hacks to rug pulls, to the most craziest things. Like even back then I was using NiceHash because, the mining experience back then I had was so little because everybody was just getting starting into it. So I was using NiceHash, and in 2016, NiceHash got hacked. So everybody that had his or her mining tokens there, were not able to withdraw them anymore. There's a lot of things that has happened, especially today as well with the news from Russia banning crypto, or, not banning, but you can still hold but not trade or not mine crypto anymore. Things like that just come and go, and, crypto is just very fascinating in that way.
Yeah. So Matt, I just want to ask you, I know Justin's from Canada. Where in the world are you?
The Netherlands, the northern part, Friesland.
All right. Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, hopefully we're not catching in the middle of the night on this. It just kind of dawned on me that we're a global community. We've got people tuning in from all over, and I appreciate you coming on tonight, taking the time. And thanks for telling us a little bit about your backstory. I think it's interesting. Anybody up to this point, and hopefully it won't be this way forever, but anybody who's been involved in crypto for more than 3 months really has seen, at the very least, some level of, scams or just garbage tokens or big hacks. The Bitmark hack was massive and went down here recently. So I think it's interesting that that's kind of turned you this direction towards this TARP project. Justin?
Yeah, it was, it really was what we've seen the last 6 months to a year that really kind of made us get excited for TARP and what we were going to do on the utility side. The joke's been there for forever, right? The joke's always been, can you create a rug pull token that never gets rug pulled? And so that was the kind of meme that we were going for. But the utility side, I mean, there was just so much happening. You had Squid Game, you had, Suki, you had these high profile rug pulls happening left, right, and center. And there was another one earlier in the year, Save the Kids, where they scammed a children's charity. And it shows you there's no bounds to these people and the scams that they'll pull. So it was one of those things that we needed to do something.
Yeah, people who are willing to be dishonest don't seem to have limits on how low they're willing to go to make it happen. And, people who've watched my channel know that I've basically, I would say it's on me, but allowed myself to be scammed pretty hard. And then I've purchased a couple of tokens that I don't know if they would technically classify as a rug pull, but they most definitely started out with me having several $100s invested that are now worth, less than $1.
Yeah.
So
in most of those cases, in most of those cases, that is a rug pull. Because there's two types. There's your standard rug pull where it happens instantly, just drops straight down. The other is a slow rug pull. And we've seen a few slow rug pulls this year.
Yeah. Well, I think it gives this project a lot more validity. So now that we've got a little bit of the background between the two of you, how did you guys end up on the same team?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Back in August or July, I started out my my YouTube channel. At first, I started creating content for Saitama, which I'm still, people probably notice, but I'm actually a Saitama Wolfpack member and proud of it because the project is solid. As well, I've watched your videos as well, and they're like super educational. But on the on that note, when creating my YouTube channel, my first video, I didn't actually have a camera set up and everything. I had my microphone, obviously, but I sent my video out to Justin because I saw him on YouTube and was like really impressed with how he approached things, the way he educates people, and he created his content. So I was reaching out to him for some help and asking him what he thought of my video. And basically right after that, we hit it off. And fun fact, like probably not even 2 months after, we started Tarp Token, basically because we just connected on a different level. We understand each other really well. As business partners, it's kind of creepy at times because we really get into each other's heads without having to speak a single word. And that's what you want at the end of the day when you're working with someone.
Yeah. And so I'm wondering, Justin, like, at what point, I mean, you guys are having conversations. At what point are you like kind of thinking, the roller coaster just went over the peak and now it's game on, you guys are full into this? Because people have asked me, are you going to do a token? There's no way I would create a cryptocurrency because there's too much responsibility. There's so much work that goes into it. If you're really honestly trying to do this right and be a long-term project, and there's so many cryptocurrencies out there that kind of look like Me Too coins, what made you decide today's the day we're pulling the trigger?
Well, it all came down to that. I told Matt the joke, the oldest joke in history about the rug pull thing. And he said, we have to do it. Like, we have to do it. And I said, I can't do it without doing utility. I will never do a coin or any project without utility. I want it to be a real project. And he said, no. Educating the people and creating a safe place for them, that is utility. And I kind of fluffed it off. I was kind of like, because I was tired, I'd just come off a live stream. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed, whatever. So I laid there and I couldn't sleep. My brain just went high gear. And I was like, yeah, you know what? There is utility there and there's something we can do. And so my brain starts thinking, okay, what's the best thing we can do? How can we, help the community the most? And, I came back to Matt the next day. I said, here's my ideas. I think we can do it. And he goes, okay, let's do it right now. And it's like, okay, let's go.
Wow.
And there was the discussion. There's the discussion of, this is like serious and this is going to take up all our time. And this is, this is real. Like, this is going to be real hard work. And he's like, yeah, I'm down for it. I'm Dutch. I can handle I can handle hard work. And I said, good, because it's going to come down hard. And yeah. So at that point, it was just, we were figuring out when would iDocs was kind of like a hot, not a hot topic, but like, we were trying to figure out when we should do it. It was before launch. We knew it had to be before launch. And then it was like, okay, getting the teams together and everything running.
That must have been a big decision for you, because I know you've kind of stayed more, at least visually, not on your YouTube channel. And for me, after watching some of these rug pulls, and even honestly, watching a major project like Shiba Inu, and I don't have anything against Shiba Inu, but to me, it could move farther, faster if they weren't anonymous, because they have to be so careful to guard that anonymity that it's harder to make relationships with people. It's hard to put deals together. At least I imagine it being that way. So, and then when I saw a few rug pulls, I kind of said, okay, if you're not doxxed, I'm not talking. And I actually talked with Crypto Deb about it, and she was saying that she was going to be doing an AMA with you. And I said, man, for me to do that, Justin's going to have to be doxxed. And then I was actually surprised when you did, because in this crypto space, people may not realize it, but a lot of people love you. But if you cross the wrong boundary with some people, the hate and gut, horrible comments, the attacks that come are pretty awful. I actually pulled this grapefruit comment. If I've got some grapefruit, I can give away too. That's the one that I would say I was semi.
I think everybody can, right?
I've got a pile of that stuff.
Hey, I called grapefruit being a shitcoin. Okay, I never even invested in it. I called it early too, when everybody thought it was like. See, for me with grapefruit, what it was you watched that first when Kai Green was going to come out with something, and there was going to be a news cycle, and it pumped, and then as soon as it got delayed, it dumped. that showed me that people just want to sell the news. So there was nobody there for the long term. And it was like, yeah, no, this isn't really going anywhere. And then when that got delayed, you saw that kind of peter down, and the SHIB FUD was kind of rising up at the time because of the, people weren't happy with the rewards from the swap. And the news was that they were listing on Shiba Swap. So you kind of had this, bad interaction that ended up happening. And I think Kai he lost faith in his own project, and the devs walked away. And then everybody just sold off.
Yeah. Yeah. And so to me, it's gives so much validity to what you guys are trying to do. I'm being very, very selective about only almost exclusively talk about Saitama. But people ask me all the time to talk about different projects. And I've seen, Jake's been very transparent about it, but Jake Gagan even mentioned it last night. We get solicitations all the time for people to talk about their coins. And it's hard to pass this stuff up because they can offer, a pretty good deal for people. But even ones that he looked at, that he tried to vet, that he wanted to be good projects, he had one, it was like some kind of Trump token or something, that he talked about it, and right immediately after his live stream, it rugged. So, I mean, we need some kind of movement inside the community for security for investors.
Yeah, and not only for investors, like you just said, for creators as well. Like I remember when I started out my YouTube channel, at the beginning, I only had a couple hundred subscribers, but eventually down the line, you get like a couple of thousand. And what happens is you start getting a lot of offers in your email box, right? And honestly, I always said this from the beginning, is that I would never create content for money. Never. It's just, that's where I draw the line. I'm creating content to help people, to educate people. And that's where I started creating content for Saitama. However, there's a lot of things going around as well in the YouTube community, is that, there's probably some creators that actually take that paycheck and don't disclose it, which is, something that also is not good. But on the other side, having the app that we are creating help, these investors, but also creators, makes them, make these decisions a lot better. So before you actually starting to, create content for whatever token you want, you can actually check if it's actually a rug pull or it has red flags that you should be concerned of, which is a good thing. So it's not only for the investor, but for the creator as well at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way I see it for me. Like, if I'm going to talk about something, if I at least have some source to point to and say, okay, I was able to vet it through this process, and at least up to this point, I'm comfortable talking about it. Justin is just getting mad love in the chat right now.
Somebody said, "Where's my face?" Oh, I'm right here.
Yeah, please, guys, keep the eyes up. Hey, this is perfect for your NFT, Justin. You have the alien on one side and you on the other. It's kind of that slow reveal.
It's actually funny. It's actually funny. So if people remember, from my YouTube channel, the wife was doing NFTs, and she's going to be doing NFTs again. We're just waiting for the new marketplace, but she has those mythical beast NFTs that she was doing. Like she had a Yeti, she had a unicorn and stuff like that. But she did one of me, like actually me, is an NFT, like actually cartooned out. It's really funny. It never saw the light of day, but we were going to use that kind of as a slow docs type thing. And so there's this mythical beast that I'll probably mint that's actually her drawing of me, and maybe I'll do that. I'll do a card that kind of flips between the two, because that'd be pretty funny.
Awesome. People would be into it, sure. So before I jump into the next thing, I'm going to pull up the Tarp website and take a look at some of the features there. But if you guys were speaking to the brand new investor and they're looking at different coin projects. I mean, when I started making videos in August, there were about 10,000 coins listed on CoinMarketCap. And now that number is 16,000 or more. I mean, there's 180 fiat currencies in the world, and we have 16,000 tokens. How does a person even start sifting through this and what should they be looking for in terms of safety and security at a very high level?
The first thing I would say is you have to look for projects that have good utility and that they're, making good on their promises, that they're going through a development cycle. They're actually building something more than a game or a metaverse or something like that. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to have eventually a bear market, and that's going to shake out all those coins that are not really doing much of anything. They're not going to survive that because you're going to see a 90% drop in value, and the devs are just going to get frustrated and walk away. And you see that all the time with this. You see this even in major coins where something like, when Litecoin came out, so this is going way back, when Litecoin came out, there was another one called Feathercoin, and they were kind of head to head with each other. But yeah, Litecoin kind of survived, whereas Feathercoin isn't even traded really anymore. So it shows you that bear market can kill a project pretty easily. So it comes down to the devs, who's going to stick it through. And that's who, if you're looking for the long-term invest, you have to, pick your teams at that point.
Yeah. Matt, you want to weigh in on that at all? Or are you satisfied there?
Justin said it perfectly, as always, obviously. But it's true. Like if you look at the bear market, Justin and I talk about this all the time. When the bear market hits, that's where the real work starts, right? That goes for the dev team, but also for the investor. On the investor side, that's where you actually start buying the dip, right? Like in the Jesus meme, buy the dip, son. So that's actually real talk. Like you don't want to buy at the high. You want to buy when it's low. Like if you bought in back in the beginning when Bitcoin was really low, when COVID hit, like on 3,000s, you would have been sitting on a really nice bag right about now. And that's when the bear market was about to end. It exploded up till like 10 or 12,000, and everybody started having faith again. And when the bear market hits, usually most of these tokens or coins, well, coins not really, but tokens actually do suffer from the fact that there's no more interest, there's no more eyes being pointed towards the crypto market in a positive way. There's a lot of fear. So to add on to that, there's going to be a lot of projects that you will probably never hear of anymore when like maybe 1, 2, 3 years down the line.
I wouldn't be surprised if we go from 16,000 tokens down to maybe 1,000 or below, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what I would think too. There just isn't really that much use case to differentiate people. And that's when I'm looking at a project that I'm thinking, should I be an investor here? I'm looking for something unique. This particular project, it's the first one I've seen that's talking about the safety and security to the investors. And I'm interested to see how that use case plays into creating value. But then I know you've got a bunch of other use cases stacked up behind that. And we'll talk about those here in kind of the second half of the show. But all right, I want to jump in over here, and this is scary for me, guys, because when I throw my screen up, I no longer get to see the chat. So if you're not doing these, it's trickier than it looks. All right, here we have our devs, Matt and Justin. Justin, do you really play the guitar?
Yes, absolutely, I do. 100%.
Okay.
I've been in
sure.
In my 20s, at one point, I was actually in 3 bands at once. I was in 2 punk bands and 1 hair metal band. So my entire life from probably 18 to 21 was playing guitar every night in some bar somewhere in Ontario, and absolutely loving it. I carried that through to more of a hobby a little bit later in life. When I moved to the city that I'm in, the small city that I'm in now, I did pick up some time, playing bars and stuff, and that was nice. And then now it's back to a hobby again. But, it's part of my life. It's actually kind of like my zen out. So if I'm having a rough day, if I'm feeling kind of rough, I pick up a guitar for a couple hours and I feel great.
Yeah, I'm a guitar guy too. To me, they're like functional art. They're beautiful just sitting around. But then
I just got a new guitar that I'm like just absolutely enthralled with, just to look at and stare at. So I've been kind of going through the waves of being a Fender guy. Gibson very early on. I had my first Gibson was a Les Paul Studio. Biggest mistake of my life. The thing had an acoustic neck on it, weighed 500 pounds, and played it on stage, and it was horrendous. It sounded great, but it was horrendous. And then, moving away into the Fender because it's nice and light, thin necks, really kind of like that feel. And then I just finally went to Gretsch, and the White Falcon and the Sparkle Jet have made the entrances, and beautiful, beautiful guitars. They're really works of art.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I just bought one too, actually, and I try not to splurge on myself, and I bought a really nice guitar, and I play more acoustic guitars, but I just bought a really nice Fender. Fender. I bought a really nice Taylor. It's a 12 fret.
Ooh,
It's
Taylor's
Koa,
a nice.
Hawaiian Koa. It's freaking incredible. Beautiful guitar.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
Matt,
one of those things.
sorry,
Beautiful,
go
just
ahead.
beautiful guitars. Oh, just guitars are so beautiful. And when you look at something like your guitar that you just bought, that was made by hand. That's not machine made. That, like, every guitar, acoustic guitar that's like $200 or above is taking somebody's time to form, build, and it's such a beautiful art within itself.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked on this one. It was Merry Christmas. I mean, I don't want to do that very often, but I would like to every month. So, okay, on this, I want to jump into your rug paper a little bit. And now, this is called a white paper in most projects, but I'm kind of carrying on this thought tonight that there are a lot of new people to crypto. So, Matt, I was wondering if you could walk us through not the whole entire white paper or rug paper, but the purpose of a rug paper or a white paper, and why investors should be giving this a read before they invest.
Well, first things first, you want to know what you want to buy, right? So if you invest into anything, you need to educate yourself first. A white paper, the purpose of it is to showcase what the problem is we're trying to solve within this crypto space. And our rug paper is built in a way that if you read it from top to bottom, it's going to explain you exactly what the project is about. What we're trying to solve, and also how many tokens we've minted, the process that we have taken, and our roadmap is talked about as well. And if you look at, for example, the gold standard, we actually hit like 16,000% on the first day, the first run, without any bots buying the first block. You know, there's a lot of things that you can find back in the white paper where you can just look into, and if you're interested into investing into anything that goes for any token, you need to always do your own research. And that also begins with reading the white paper while also looking up some things on other stuff like internet, or like, for example, on Google, get some thoughts on maybe some creators on YouTube, and then form ultimately your own opinion.
Yeah, I agree. This has some things in it that I don't see in other white papers. I actually really like the disclaimer, to be honest. And I think people have such a tendency. What brings us to cryptocurrency is that one really good story. It's the person who bought pizza with Bitcoin, and then that would be worth tens of millions, well, at least millions of dollars. Instead, he traded for pizza. But people have to know that cryptocurrency is very volatile. And in your disclaimer, you actually walk through that really nicely, just kind of saying, hey, sorry, I'm trying to scroll this and my mouse is getting crazy. But like, hey, this is a new project. It starts with a high token count, and there can be extreme volatility. And even in the chat tonight, before the show, I saw people talking about the fact that, it had a big run up, and the price has pulled back a little bit, but it's almost like we want like McDonald's investments where you order it at the window, and at the what do they call it? The orders, you order at the screen, you move forward to the window, and it's done. You're rich, That's just not really the way this is going to work every single time. It takes a little bit of patience, and you guys are very transparent in this. I found it really informative, and yet it's easy to read. So I think it's a good place to start for people who are interested, not just in TARP, but in any project. Now, in looking at your roadmap or your rug map, you guys got pretty deep into this last night with Jake Gagan. If you guys haven't seen that, I would suggest that you watch that. It was an excellent interview, far better than I can do. Jake is a professional with that. But you guys brought up, just for a moment, this stage 4 plan to reimburse casualties of rug pulls. So we are going to talk about how the TARP program works, but I want to ask you about that before I forget.
All right.
So the one thing is, oh, go ahead, Matt.
Sorry. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
All right. So the one thing that we look at was when we were doing tokenomics, I mean, you obviously, you've created your own tracking program, stuff like that. You know how powerful 1% can really be, and how when it's high volume, that's going to be an extreme amount of money, especially as we're later on into this project. And we're already past our development cycle. So what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to use some of that 1% to be able to do giveaways, to do things for people who have been in rug pulls, help them get over that sting, because that's really what it is. It's the sting that hurts. It's hard to get past it. We can't help literally everybody, but we can help a lot of people. And, we're going to find a way to, just make sure that pool is there for them. Also, because of the other systems that are going to be in place, things like, the advertising on the social media side and the audit side being paid in Tarp, because that's a constant flow of Tarp coming through. That's something we can use as well to help with that. So it's really, we're not here to make money. We're here to, reach out and help people.
Yeah, I think that's cool. That's kind of the underpinning for your entire project is just trying to make a difference in the space. I'm really drawn to decentralized systems and cryptocurrency. This is what this is all about. It's about decentralization. Most of us live somewhere where there's a centralized power, and it's checked. It can be a thing, right? They can set rules of the road, and they can do some things to make it so we can, navigate our way through life with some security and some safety. But when that gets out of control and there's too much power there, those systems can take over and quite literally just destroy the people that are subject to the control. So decentralization is, to me, it's very attractive, but at the same time, as a community of decentralized people, I mean, we're able to interact with people all over the world, but somebody has to come up with a way to try to regulate what's going on in the community, or these big centralized power structures will come in and do it for us. And one way for them to do that might just be flipping the switch and saying, we're not doing this. So for me, it's good to see a project like this. So why don't you tell us about Tarp? And after we get through that, let's see if maybe you guys want to part with some of your hard-earned tokens. Tell us, when I say Tarp, not so much the coin. I want to know about the system that you're going to be using to vet coins.
The system's going to be really incredible. So first of all, we all know Token Sniffer. We know Watchtower. These are websites that you can go to, put a contract in. It kind of tells you the red flags, kind of. It's not very clear on what's actually happening, if that makes sense. They kind of give you a technical overview, but they don't tell you why this could be dangerous. And also because it's just a quick comparator, so it's taking the contract and just comparing notes. It's inaccurate at times, especially when you're dealing with newer technologies. And as Solidity and other programming languages grow, it's having problems keeping up, and we're already seeing that. So what we have to look at is we need a way for our system to work where it's going to learn as it sees things. So we have an AI built system that is literally going to be learning as it goes. It's going to be looking for patterns in wallets, patterns in what devs do, and how the tokens look, what kind of red flags they all seem to use, because in a lot of cases it's copy and paste. So it's a great system to be able to do that. But where it really comes into its own is the fact that you're going to be able to put your portfolio into it and keep an eye on all of your tokens at all times. Because a lot of people just check once, right? When they go to buy, they check. But things can change in a token. We've seen it this week.
Yeah, I actually heard you saying yesterday, I didn't know that this was possible. I'm definitely not, not an expert in blockchain technology and how smart contracts work. But I wasn't really aware that people could change the contract after they launched the token. Now, you explained yesterday some positive reasons why that might be a good thing, but also we saw some bad actors adjusting their contracts in a way that made it so the investors were guaranteed to lose.
Yep. And that can happen. So
monitoring, that constant monitoring and being able to get an update or a heads up like, hey, somebody just changed the contract. I mean, whether that's in time to save a person or not, what I think it does is it makes it so the people who are in charge of that contract know there's some accountability and somebody's going to call them out, you know?
Well, the thing too is, like I was saying, a lot of these rug pulls are copy and paste. It's the same group doing it. They're deploying it multiple times, just with a different name, different website, different white paper. So what we'll be able to do is look at who deployed it. And if it's something that's been deploying rug pull after rug pull after rug pull, where are we going to be able to flag it? You're going to know before it even launches. Whereas, something like, Watchtower or one of those other sites, they don't do that. They're not able to do that. So it's going to be a really nice system there. And then, like I said, the big thing is you're going to be able to constantly monitor your portfolio at any given time, or any tokens you're interested in.
Yeah. So I have to ask you on this. I have a friend in the chat tonight. I've mentioned her already once. One of my favorite YouTubers, Crypto Deb. One time, just in sharing her honest opinion about a project and saying, this gives me a little bit of cause for concern, she got a lot of blowback for that. What kind of blowback are you guys seeing, if any, or what kind of, and what are you anticipating when you start calling people out?
I expect a lot, to be honest with you. It's one of those things where we're taking down an industry that stole over $1 billion last year. There's going to be people who are pissed off at us, and that's fine. I've been that way. Deb knows this. Deb and I actually talk about this in private from time to time, where, I've been there too. We were both attacked by the same community. I just happened to be the one who gave it back to them tenfold. So it's one of those things, if I see a red flag and I put it out there for the public to know about, that's nothing against the developers. Okay. They're not doxxed in a lot of cases. This is the only way I can get the information out. So I'm going to reach out and I'm going to say, hey, this is a red flag. Hopefully they can change it. And, it's one of those things that it happens from time to time where instead of fighting back against me, they actually go and change something. They go try and make a difference, right? Those are when you have good devs. But when they come back and they just start slamming you and they send, these Twitter hit guys after you that are just there to, crap all over you, that's when you have an idiot. And it's like, this project's going nowhere. So it's a tough, space to navigate, but I just don't have that fear that some people have to call them out on things.
Well, I'm glad. I really am glad somebody's doing it. And the truth is, whether we want to think it or not, if we don't take charge as a community, if somebody doesn't step in and fill the role of creating safety and security for investors, then a centralized system will do it. And it will make it much more difficult. We won't be able to have these international communities where we can interact with who we like. So Justin's switched back over to his moon man self. Somebody was complaining.
I saw that comment.
Yeah. Hey, while we take a quick pause, I just want to say thanks to everybody who's dropping super chats. And I have starred a few of them for later to bring back. There was a good question about what Tarp has coming in the near future and in the distant future, but I'm going to save that for the end. If you guys would just remind me to bring that one back to the top. We are kind of about the bottom of the hour here. Guys, about maybe bless the audience over here with a little extra Tarp token.
Let's do it. So I'll break the news to everyone. As you guys know, we at Tarp, we like to give back to the people, and our app and all the other things we are working on in the development stage is obviously one of them, but giving out Tarp tokens is the other. And as you guys know, we like to give some Tarp tokens away, and on Saitama Stacker's channel, being the first as well, we would like to donate 30 million Tarp tokens to however you want to use it, Saitama Stacker. So that's up to you. You can do it in one giveaway. You can bless maybe 3 people. It's all completely up to you how you want to do that. But let's do another giveaway. And 69 gang, stand up. We are here to bless another guy or another woman with some Tarp tokens, and hopefully we can make your day.
Yeah. Hey, I think let's do it. I like the idea of spreading it out, spreading the love a little bit, because it's just going to improve the odds of each person to get a shot at it. So why don't I set it up here? I'll just jump out on Twitter real quick and create a quick post for people to go out and retweet. And there There's a little advertising for Bree. Bree is in the chat. Bree, again, thank you for letting me steal your polls for my videos for the last couple of days. So
Everyone chill, Bree.
We'll just
Bree actually got her 69 crew hoodie, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it.
I want to look at that merch with you guys, man. The artwork you guys have going for this project really is beautiful. The website's beautiful. Rug. I really, really like that. It kind of makes me concerned that the apes are going to take over, that the Planet of the Apes will work out.
Yeah, that's
Who
the
knew
idea,
it'd be
right?
a couple crypto guys, right?
That's right. That one they didn't see coming. Okay.
Oh, that's the way.
Matt, you did it. You really did it.
Oh, this is amazing.
I don't even know what to put in this. I don't even know if I spelled that right. We'll see. But we're doing this now. We're doing it. All right.
Yeah, for me, if you watch my giveaways, I literally just tweet at myself. And I'm like, because I don't want to flood anybody, right? So I'm like, let's just tweet at myself, and I don't care what I put. Like, there was literally one giveaway where I think it was on my 24-hour stream where I gave away 10 courses or something like that. And it was like literally, it's like giveaway 1, giveaway 2, giveaway 3. Like, the tweets were epic.
Yeah, I actually remember one night, Moonshot, you were trying to get your sub count to 1,000.
Yeah.
And I think when I joined the stream, I was watching it at one point, and I came back the next day and I was like, oh, he's streaming. It was the same stream.
Yeah,
You've been going for like 23 hours or something.
Yeah, we what we did was we did kind of like a subathon where if somebody subbed, it would increase the timer. And, you know, this is an idea that's brought over from Twitch. Both Matt and myself have streamed on Twitch. And at the time, I wasn't using Streamlabs. So we had to do the clock manually. My poor wife was sitting there trying to calculate the time, because every time somebody donated $1, it would add 1 minute. And then it was like, we kind of hard capped it. And it was like, you know, she kind of got to that point. It was within the first hour or 2 hours that we had hit our cap. And, yeah, by the end, I think I even went out for a walk with, like, I started, because I was using StreamYard at the time, and I just connected from my phone, went for a walk around the block, and like just like trying to get myself up, and because by the end I was so loopy. It was great.
That was the most entertaining part to me, was like the last hour or so, and I mean, you're literally almost like having visions at the time. So
some hallucinations for sure.
The level of dedication that you have and willingness that you'll have to work on this project, you know, work ethic Matt talked about earlier. That's so important. These projects are, I mean, maybe anybody. I mean, it sounds like the barriers to entry to launch a token on Binance are not massive.
No.
But to really put a project together and to see it through, the amount of work that's going to take, it's huge. And if you're doing this like you guys are, I think the investors deserve to have people go to work for them, you know? So let me take a quick peek and see how we're doing over in Twitter. So we've got 65 retweets on this one, you guys. Normally people would say also, make sure you are following my channel, that you're following the Tarp official channel, Matt and Justin. So give these guys some love, and let's try to show some appreciation for the work that they're putting in, and also for the fact that they're about to give away their hard-earned tokens.
It's Chad Reddings. Chad.
Hey, Chad.
Woo! Chad.
Woo.
I have to tell you, man, I used to spam Chad, like, Chad, please give me a shout out. And he would call me Saitama Stalker. Hey, it's Saitama Stalker. Unfortunately, it was probably really fitting. I think it was, I don't think it was even intentional, but I was kind of stalking him at the time, like doing anything I could, like, please look at me, you know? So Chad, thank you for joining the stream. Chad is awesome. One of the guys that I look to for technical analysis. I think he does an amazing job. And Justin also really solid with technical analysis. I've got a lot to learn. I'm thinking about buying your courses.
Oh,
Yeah,
you should.
it's a really neat course because it's, you know, it takes you from the very beginnings, you know, from what's a candle all the way to a workable system that you can use for swing trading and all that stuff. So and the nice thing is it's so boiled down that it only takes about an hour, 45 minutes, maybe a little bit less. And you're through the whole thing, and then you still have access, so you can keep, you know, hitting it again. So if you're into a trade, you want to make sure you're doing it right, you can go back to it. You have forever access once you're in.
Yeah. Well, where do you make that available?
That's on my website, which is www.justmoonshot.com.
All right. I'm going to be buying because this year is my year to try to really strengthen my crypto skills. It's one of my goals. Okay, folks, we've got 90 people have retweeted. I'm going to give you one more minute, and then I'm going to copy the link, and we'll run the drawing. We'll do three winners at 10 million apiece, right? You said 30 million. Matt?
Yep.
Yeah, correct.
All right. I'm excited. I'm the guy who's put in on probably 100 of these drawings, and I've never personally won. So I'm always happy for the people that do.
There's even some people that I believe on Jake's stream, he's like in the beginning when he was giving away so much Saitama, that won twice. And I'm like sitting there like, how does this happen? There's people that don't even win once, but some people that win twice.
You know,
it's so funny
to think about too. Like when Jake was doing those giveaways back in August, and he had the Surfer guy that was just giving tons of tokens to support the community. At the time, I mean, even at the time, it was a pretty good giveaway. They might do like, this is like a $500 giveaway. Well, that $500 today would be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Some of those giveaways, if those people are still holding it. And I think for people looking at these 10 million TARP tokens, you know, right now we're talking around $300, but at the trajectory that this is moving and as the community builds, and the fact that I do believe that this can be a project that's here in 5 years, and that will be, I mean, people who are buying now, you'll be the ones telling the stories that people are going to say, no way, you know, you bought that for 4 zeros, 3, you know, that's crazy. At least those are the stories I hope to be telling. All right, folks, I'm going to share my screen. I have a bad habit of doing giveaways and not showing people who the winners are. So let's share the screen. I'm going to grab the link, and people who are in there, we've got 118. That's pretty darn good. I've got to remember how to do this. Let me copy the link real quick, paste it in.
Empire Invest.
What did he say?
Comment, Matt. Jesus thinks you're all winners.
Yeah, Dean, have you seen that Jesus meme that has been going around by Empire Invest about Tarp?
The Dell crypto one.
Yeah.
I saw a couple different ones, but yeah, I think I have. I'll tell you what, I heard you guys talking yesterday about Empire Invest and that he's joining your team to be kind of your meme marketer, and good call. You know, the guy produces some seriously cool content. It's just really a talented kind of a creative. That's the word I'm looking for. He's got a high level of creativity.
Yeah,
I know he's got an ace up his sleeve too. That's coming soon. I know that.
Yeah, he's so funny. Like, honestly, first thing I watched, I think he created a video, and then he put me in the video. I was like, what? Am I in a video? No way. Did I make his video? So I became Spider-Man, and I was like, no, this is amazing. I have to retweet this and just give him a shout out, because obviously he knows his game. He knows how to do these memes so well.
I also felt like I made it when I made his video. So I was like, okay, now I'm somebody.
Yeah, I felt like a groupie, honestly. I wasn't, I'm in the video.
Yeah, I love his videos. Right. They're so good.
Here we go. We're going to throw it down. We're doing 3 winners, 10 million apiece by the Tarp developers, Matt and Justin. Thank you. So we've got 1 BRE, lots of numbers, Sci-Fi Hack, and Brett Trotter. Congratulations, you guys.
Nice. Congrats.
Hopefully you're all seeing that. I'm going to get like a hard screenshot and make
Perfect.
sure I can shoot that over to Justin and Matt to get you guys all set up. Very cool.
And
10 million.
it'll be me.
Great starting spot.
It'll be me reaching out. So don't be surprised.
Okay.
Even though it says I don't DM on Twitter, it will be me.
Oh, that's gonna be funny to watch. I got.
Oh yeah, now here comes all the scammers.
How are your trades going? This is MetaMask support.
No kidding. Fill out
Oh, I
this
hate
Google
those
Doc.
guys.
Give us your seed phrase and we'll get you taken care of right away. It's just absolutely crazy. So,
I can't believe how
all right,
much of that there
I'm gonna
is.
turn this back. I'm going to turn this back really quick and just tell you. So I had this thought earlier today that if you give somebody a new pen, the first thing that most people do with the new pen is they sign their name. The first thing people are going to do, in my opinion, when they get this Tarp contract scrubber, is they're going to put Tarp in. What are we going to find as investors when we run Tarp through its own system?
A massive meme. No, I'm kidding. People have
You've
asked
got to
us to
have
do
some
that.
kind of a joke that pops up or something.
Yeah, 69%.
There you go.
But as
With
far
a
as it goes,
mirror.
like,
Make
I
sure you
get
have
what
a
you're saying,
mirror.
though. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
96% with a mirror.
Yeah, the community wants us to do a meme. It's possible we might, but the reality is, we also want to make sure that we want to show where our system is going to give scores and stuff like that as well, and where those things can be changed by us if we talk to the devs or if we talk to that. So really, ours is the test bed, if that makes sense. So you're going to see some really cool stuff with ours.
Yeah. And can you kind of explain to me what this, what criteria is it really looking for? How is it compiling a score?
So the way it's going to do it is it's based off a weighted system of points, right? So you have, if it's not a renounced contract, that's going to be so many points. If it's this, it's going to be so many points. But where we're a little different too is we want to be able to talk with the developers. So we are doing developer support so they can reach out to us. So for example, somebody like us where we're not renounced and our community believes in us to not renounce, right? We need to be able to convey that, right? So it comes down to, yes, there's going to be a weighted score, but if they have certain technology, say like anti-bot technology that will trip it up a little bit the first couple times, then we can go in, we can say, okay, we saw what this was. This isn't a big deal. We can also just adjust that score back in. So for us, we're a more flexible score, if that makes sense, than say something like Token Sniffer, where we score an amazing 20, sometimes 25, depends on the day, but most of the time 20. But it's because if you read at the top, it says that they can't sell our token. Well, we damn well know people can sell our token today. So it's one of those things that, it's because of our anti-bot code, because the way they look at can it sell or can't it sell is by trying to do this little microtransaction. So what they'll do is they'll do a very small transaction and then try and sell it right away. But our anti-bot is set for 69 seconds. They don't know that. So it trips up their system and provides a lower score. Just to give you an idea on that level of what we're doing, we're going to be tracking sales in a completely different way to be able to tell if it's sellable or not. So it's going to be a little more accurate and a little more up to date, where, that's where I think they fell apart, was they didn't update.
Yeah, and this is something huge too. Like, how many times do you, obviously when you invest, you look into a project and you go through all the steps, right? You look at the website, you look at the contract, you look at the white paper, and then you make your initial investment. Eventually you look at the chart, you keep updated on the chart, and you want to see the progress. But how many times do you actually go back and look back at the contract, look again at the white paper, look again at the website? You don't. Well, maybe the website at most, but you don't. So what our app is going to do is give you a push notification as soon as something changes. Like if their liquidity is locked for a year and they don't lock it again, you will get notified. And that's something that is really powerful too, because a lot of investors don't really look into that anymore as soon as they are invested into the project already.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sorry, I'm reading the chat here at the same time, but I like that AI feature. And you're right, guys. Like, these coins, like I did like my initial research, even on Saitama. I haven't gone back and read the white paper. I read the whole thing through the first time I did it, first time I invested, but it really is important to have some kind of a system to fall back on, or to keep updated with what's moving, especially some of these things that you guys are teaching us. You know, I had no idea that developers could change a contract after the thing is in play. So
Yeah, and it depends if they've renounced or not. If it's renounced, they can't do much. They would have to redeploy completely. Where if it's non-renounced, as the programmer, you can put in what's called call actions, where you can go and change tokenomics. You can change the amount of the total amount of a transaction can be, all different kind of things that you can do. And that's where it comes down to, you have to be able to trust the devs if they're not going to renounce, right? And that's why we, explained to our group that, remember, we were talking about the Bitcoin hack, or sorry, not Bitcoin, Bitmark hack that happened, where that happened to Saitama, and Saitama had to sit there and watch it happen, and they couldn't do anything. We could have gone in and actually blacklisted that wallet, and that hacker wouldn't be able to sell a single one of those Tarp tokens if they would have stolen them. So we have a lot more power to protect our community when we're not renounced. So it comes down to, do you trust your devs enough to not renounce, versus renounce? But the other thing too is, just to go back to what Matt was talking about, like with the liquidity unlocks, do you know when Saitama's liquidity unlock happens?
Isn't it coming up here in May or March?
Yeah, but do you know the date and time? Because here's the thing.
I know it's locked for a year.
That is the most dangerous time for a token, is when liquidity is not locked, because that's when it can be rug pulled. Like in a traditional rug pull sense, they can take their liquidity tokens and sell them in one transaction, and all that liquidity is taken out. So I'm not going to say Saitama's going to do that, but on other projects, that's what you see. You might see a 3-month or a 6-month liquidity lock. 3 months in, they go and they pull the tokens, and it's just done. So it's one of those things that you should know when those liquidity locks are coming up, because you need to go to the devs and see what their messaging is. Are they saying, okay, we're relocking them? Do they relock them? You have to make sure they relock them. How long are they relocking them for? Does it make sense what they're talking about? And because that's a highly dangerous time in token.
Yeah. So speaking of that liquidity, that is a question that I wanted a little clarification on. In your tokenomics, you've got the 1% reflection, a 1% burn, the dev wallet, and then you have the liquidity piece.
Yep.
How does pushing more money into that liquidity pool make Tarp a better investment for me?
Number one, it's locking away more tokens, adding more tokens to the pool for trading as well. And then on top of that, you're increasing the bottom floor, right? So God forbid something bad happens and the token crashes down, it can now sustain a much higher level than when it started. We will never go back to the same price we were day one. We can't. It's 100% impossible. We've added another... So we started with an initial of around 50,000, I believe, is what it worked out to. It was about 100 BNB. It is now well over, I believe, 100,000. Well, yeah, that's at current price. But like, if it were to go to zero, or try to go to zero, it would be much higher than that. So it's protecting the bottom floor, so that it can always bounce back out.
Yeah, I know liquidity is a huge deal just for even being able to transact. If there's insufficient liquidity, then you basically have to have a 1-for-1 exchange with somebody else who has it. And how do you line that up? How efficient is that market? And
that's the thing too. So the more that we're adding, we're just adding more back to the pool, and it helps the pool. It helps kind of everything that we're doing, and it's all done automatically when it's turned on. Right now, it's kind of turned off because we're in a bit of a dip. It's something that we turn off when we're in dips, just because before that you would have seen them, and you've been tracking the charts a little bit. That 690,000 sale that was on the backside of every sale. That's the liquidity from our wallet, from the actual contract wallet, being sold in a 50-50 pairing to go to liquidity. So that's why you kind of saw that. Right now, the liquidity pool is not getting topped up, but the tokens are there to top it up. It's going to be just a little more delayed. That's all.
Okay. I've left this question sitting on the table for quite a bit here. And the question is from Nick J. What about existing projects? new projects could be coming using your services for essentially auditing. I know that's another part of this service you're offering, but this should be able to scrub any project, right? It's not just a new project. You can push any contract through it.
Yeah, so you can push any contract through it. As far as coming to us for help, we're already seeing current projects come to us. They have their liquidity locks coming up or unlocks coming up. One of the things that a dev can do at a liquidity unlock is to redeploy the contract. So that's where we're starting to see people who are on very old contracts, say version 6 or 7 of Solidity and Pragma. They're updating to the new version, and it's a much more capable version. There's less bugs. It's just overall better. And we're already talking with a few of them to help them with their contract to get into the next level.
Okay. Hey, and I meant to ask on that last liquidity question,
Sure.
What kind of access is there from the contract to the liquidity pool? Is it locked indefinitely? Because it's adding constantly. I mean, is there a certain point where the liquidity is sufficient? You can switch that off and it can revert back to investors, or how would that work?
We could do something like that. It wouldn't be too difficult because we're not renounced. What we could do is, if we felt there was enough liquidity in there just going forward, we can turn off, say, the 1% that's going to the liquidity, add that 1% back to reflections. So we could do, 0 on the liquidity pool and up the reflections to 2%.
Bomb dropping.
Okay. So we're right at an hour, and I told Matt that I wasn't going to keep him all night because we started this one late, and you guys are troopers sitting through so many of these. So I'm going to go back to this super chat, which will give us the chance to kind of sum everything up. This is Polly Paul, and thanks to everybody who's participated in the chat tonight, everybody who contributed a little. I will use Buy Tarp. I'm actually, I was telling the guys that I was buying more B&B right before the show, because to me, the price looks very attractive and I don't have as much as I want. I have to dollar cost average. I don't have massive amounts of money. I'm on a budget. And so I have to take when I can and buy what I can. And I will say, I like this B&B blockchain. The fact that I can get, if I buy $100 worth of tokens, it translates into, after the taxes, you could say, $95 with the B&B fees and the tax coming out. Whereas if I wanted to buy $100 on the ERC20 tokens on the Ethereum blockchain, I might only be able to buy $30 worth with $100 because $70 is going to fees. So I like this buy-in point. Sorry, I'm rambling, but gents, what do you guys see short-term and long-term for the 69 gang?
So short-term, our NFT marketplace is coming up real soon. In probably like 20, 25 days, even less. But let's put it that way. Which will introduce a lot of new things: fractionalizing NFTs, staking NFTs, buying with credit card, multi-chain network. So not only Ethereum. That's one of the things you can expect. We have Empire Invest working on some new memes, so you can definitely look out for that as well, which will be hilarious, as you may know. And there's a lot of other things we are working on. So the marketing side is also something we have launched. We are putting out articles on websites. We are having ads on websites as well. And on top of that, we actually just recently had a meeting with a marketing team, which will take our long form content, also content from like channels like these, where we go on certain AMAs and such. And snip it down and break it down and repurpose it on different channels. So eventually down the line, you will see more eyes being focused on Tarp because, you will see Tarp on Instagram, on Twitter, you will see it on Facebook and so on. Because right now we have amazing moderators. We have people working behind the scene, for Tarp every day, putting in the hours. But eventually we're still a small team. So we're branching out. And there's a lot of things that we are working on right now that you will eventually see down the line, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks from now. To unfold. So it's going to be an interesting month, that's for sure. The second month is going to be really fire.
Yeah, and that's the thing you have to remember too. Everything that we're doing today, let's say, all the work we put in this week that you've seen us like hammering away in the Discord, that stuff's like for next week. So all the work you're seeing come out this week was the week before or 2 weeks before that. So it's, there is a little bit of a delay as things come out, because especially with marketing and stuff like that, if we're working with, content creators, or we're working with somebody, like there's that time that goes into it. So, we're always hustling, we're always moving, we're always, coming up with new ideas and putting them into play. So it's a nonstop go for us. And what you're going to see, also short term is, one of our partners is releasing, this is Diamond Vault. They're releasing a way to buy Tarp through fiat. Tarp will be the first token listed on it for fiat. They're using us for testing, which is awesome. And we're really excited about that.
Well, I mean, there's tons of things. Sound like you've got a lot of work to do. I don't envy you guys in that regard. Between the NFT market, I heard you guys talking last night about your social platform. Sounds like that has a lot of promise, but it's looks like a worthy project to me. Honestly, it's unique. It's not just a Me Too token that's trying to get listed on a couple small exchanges and bring a play earn game. This is deeper use case than a lot of projects I see reaching for. And I think that's going to be necessary for longevity of projects. People who are coming in and just hoping to get listed on a few exchanges, and they're staking everything in a small game, or staking everything in just hype and trying to build community. I mean, the community is powerful and it's certainly very necessary, but the community has to have a reason to invest. They have to have a reason to come and to help the community build. If we're going to tell our friends about something, it's nice if it brings some value to that person. So you guys have this contract scrubber out. When it comes out, if I'm a guy who's talking about crypto and one of my friends says, hey, I'm interested in crypto, I'm going to say, well, anything you're looking at buying, make sure you use this. It's a free app,
and that's the whole idea. The whole idea is that there's no barrier, right? We don't want a barrier for new investors. We want them to use us first, because if they use us first, we know that they're going to have a good experience in crypto, but also it gives us a lot of penetration power in the actual marketplace as well. That is eyes on our brand constantly every day. And then we're using that to leverage out to grow the social media platform we're creating. That's one of the things for long-term as well. And then we didn't really talk about this on Jake's stream because we didn't get to phase 3, but I'll sum up phase 3 with a single word: blockchain.
Nice.
Woo!
Yeah.
You did it to him, Justin. Holy shit. I wasn't expecting that bump to be dropped tonight.
Yeah. Wow. So are we
always something up my sleeve?
Are we trying to put in time parameters on that, or are we
So the blockchain will be somewhere in the 5-year plan. It takes a lot of time to develop a blockchain. You need a really good team behind you creating that blockchain. It takes a lot of technology. We may not go with the route of creating 100% our own. We may end up forking something. We're gonna look at all the options. If we end up forking, it's gonna be a little bit faster. But the whole idea behind the blockchain is we want to have smart contracts where people can create great projects, and they have to be KYC'd. So we feel that any developer should be KYC'd, period. You have to be KYC'd to sell your tokens. Why the hell are developers not needing to be KYC'd to create the token in the first place? So it makes no sense to us. So we're going to step up and we're going to say, hey, we're going to create the safest blockchain for all everyday investors. And that's the long-term plan.
Isn't that amazing that people are entrusting millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in some cases to developers that nobody knows who they are, billions. It's in some cases. So the whole KYC thing, I think, again, we have to do this as a community. We have to step up. We have to raise the floor and say, you can't participate if you're not willing to bring this level of professionalism and of, security to the people who are entrusting you with their money. So
exactly. And here's the thing too, like, let's say you were a developer like on Shiba Inu, right? and you don't want to be doxxed necessarily to the public, but there needs to be some kind of record of it. That's where we can come in, right? We can have partners in place to help us with that KYC. We already have a partner in place as far as, through that kind of Gorilla Diamond token, the Diamond wallet and all that. They're using a KYC company. We're going to be able to tap into that as well. So it just makes sense that, for that extra level of protection, extra level of safety. But it is a long-term goal for that one.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty, it's an awesome goal. And I really do think as blockchain develops, we've got to create some competition to the Ethereum space. If they don't come around with V2 and get the fees down, I don't even know what to do with that. It's the small investor can't even play in that game when, like for instance, I have a couple of tokens that I probably put anywhere between $500 and $1,000 in. I can't even sell them because you think, well, do I want to pay $110 fee to sell $150 worth of cryptocurrency?
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. So new blockchains, good technology, and having somebody with a strong reputation like you guys are building right now in charge of that, controlling that. I see the crypto space getting better and better. So this last comment here, I want to wrap up with this one. So I've spent some time in the Discord, and it is quite the party in there. You guys have some amazing bots that not only give good information, but good entertainment. But if the community wants to get involved, if they want to reach out to you guys and they want to get their questions answered, what's the best way for everybody to do that?
Discord.
Discord
by far. Yeah.
We're always there
Yeah.
too.
So Twitter for me is really difficult. I'm not sure how your guys' Twitters work, but I've gone to try and turn this off a million times, but it's taking messages and putting them in different sections. So there's like the messages it thinks I want to see. It has the messages it doesn't think I want to see. And then it has a third section of like messages it really thinks I don't want to see, but it doesn't filter them properly. So I get lost in my Twitter stuff. So Discord for me is probably by far the best. Email, people can email me. My emails, we're on the website. It's in the white paper at least. But email's fine too. But Twitter's a rough one for me. Just because it seems to want to filter my inbox.
Yeah, I actually had a hard time finding that tweet I just put out for the giveaway. It wasn't at the top of my feed. So I hear what you're saying there. So the Discord, they can find a link for that on the Totally Rug Pull website. I know that's how I found it.
That's correct. And somebody just put it in the Be the Light just put it in the chat as well.
Yeah, I'll make it easy though. Discord.gg/tarp. Easy as that.
Yep.
Discord.gg/tarp.
Yep.
Correct.
Awesome. All right. I have to ask one last question. So I'm the Saitama stacker guy. Saitama is the only thing I ever talk about. If I didn't ask you, what are you guys doing in terms of getting listed with Saitamask? Is that in works?
Yep. We've sent our application in. At this time, the message to us has been, it's going to take a little bit of time because we are on the BSC network and a bridge needs to be created. So that's going to take a little bit of time. We expect that as well. And it's one of those things, as far as it goes, we haven't got full approval yet because we're obviously not on a priority if they don't have the BSC bridge built yet. But I'm sure that as we get closer to that phase 2 of listings, we'll hear very quickly.
Okay, well, keep us posted on that. There's a lot of, all of us in the Saitama community are absolutely waiting, like with pure and anxious anticipation for the full drop of Saitamask and what that will bring to that project. But I would love to see Tarp available there just because it's just a unique project. I haven't seen anything else like it. I appreciate what you guys are doing. I appreciate you taking the time to join me tonight on the stream. Thank you for your giveaway to the audience. People who won, congratulations. That's awesome. I'll let Matt get some rest for the evening. Appreciate you guys taking your time. Anything you want to close up with?
Well, thank you for having us. It was again another amazing AMA. Yesterday was an amazing AMA. It's just really fun to do these. Answer questions from the chat and get to know you all, especially personally as well on a personal level. And I truly think it's a great thing to let people know what Tarp is about, what we are doing in the next couple of weeks. And like I said on Jake's stream as well, in case you really want to know what Tarp is about and the nuggets that we share them on Discord. So if you want to know the progress we're doing, if you want to actually reach out to us, but also if you want to know the things that we don't share on Twitter or on these AMAs at times, just go on Discord and just ask us these questions.
So Discord is number one.
For sure.
Yep.
And I can attest that every time I've been in there, like 9 out of 10 times, one of the two of you is in there. I don't know when you're sleeping, but
there is no sleep, only crypto.
Justin, anything from you?
Yeah, I would like to say thank you, Dean. It's been amazing to be here. Really enjoyed it. You did a great job. I know this is one of your first AMAs. We appreciate giving a chance to us, and we had a lot of fun. To the Tarp community, as always, we love you. You guys are great. You're the reason why we're all here, and we're able to create such an amazing project. Your belief in us is overwhelming, and we appreciate it. And we're going to do everything that we can to keep you proud to be a Tarpie.
All right. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys can do. I think you've assembled a great team. And again, I love the premise behind the project, especially because I'm somebody who's been screwed more than once, not just with rug pulls, but with scams. And I think the more we tighten up this community, the more we're just going to see that go away. There's always people when money's in motion that try to inject themselves. But when you add security features like what you guys are doing, it raises the bar for everybody in the community. And hopefully it's a safer place for investors. And we can all, grow that financial security that we want for our families. So thanks for what you're doing. Keep up the good work. Get some rest, guys, if you can. I'll catch you guys later in the Discord.
Thank you very much.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Audience, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate your participation. Thanks to everybody who dropped questions. Thank you for your super chats and your super stickers. You're all generous. We appreciate you. Have a great night.